should be online. I'm waiting for confirmation.
Roger, you're still a little quiet.
I'm still a little quiet. Oh dear.
No, I think he sounds alright on my end.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just me.
definitely sounds alright on my end.
Maybe it's just
But
me.
yeah, looks like we're on now.
Okay.
Right, so welcome everyone to our 50th episode. Hooray!
Hey. Never mind, I fixed my audio. I can hear you now.
Excellent. Well, it took a month since last time we had a live stream, but yeah, I had a couple regular dissecteds to finish. Not to mention, Luke was off to Edinburgh, and he had to be in the 50th episode because he's the OG.
Exactly.
That's right.
So yeah, there we are, and we have many things planned for this special episode. I have nothing planned, so we're just talking. There you go. Oh boy! Oh, hey, that's a celebration. Those sound effects. I mean, we started last time, but
Exactly.
Yeah, one of these days I gotta add in a soundtrack of my own, and it's just just a wee from one of your old cartoons. Yeah, classic Roger. Yeah, classic Roger.
Should be there. Oh boy, getting a lot of questions about Soul Sustentia 2 in the comments. I'm working on it. Just made that.
It was out when it's out!
Not all Infinity. But
Exactly.
yeah,
It'll
how's
come out
everyone?
when it comes out, guys. So just calm down, officer.
So is everyone. Luke, how was Edinburgh?
Oh, it was absolutely lovely. That's a very lovely architecture there. They got this like giant Gothic-looking, spaceship-looking tower thing. It's actually a monument to a writer called Sir Walter Scott, who popularised Scotland and Edinburgh in his books, which helped the tourism. I went to some interesting places like the Edinburgh Dungeon. I went to Edinburgh Castle and I saw the Stone of Destiny, which was under the king's, where when the reigning monarchs of Britain get crowned on. Then I went to Loch Ness and I saw the lovely Scottish Highlands. Then I went to this weird camera obscurus thing. It was a very old spy camera using mirrors and lights and things. Then I pretty much went home after that.
So you saw the Stone of Destiny and the Dial of Destiny. So much Destiny this month.
Yes.
The destiny of destinies.
Exactly.
Now he just needs to find the pick of destiny.
Exactly.
Did the Stone of Destiny say anything to you, Luke?
Sorry?
Did the Stone of Destiny say anything to you?
No,
did
it's just a
tell you
rock.
to go home. It told you to
No,
go home.
It's just like only kings that this high can sit on me.
Guess you're not a king.
No.
And Sala, you had a big of a trip as well. Found yourself some Sonic ice cream finally.
I sure did, yeah. So my family went on a New England tour for the 4th of July. We started in Washington, D.C., made our way to Philadelphia, then New York, and then Boston before coming home. And in Washington, D.C., I just happened to come across an ice cream vendor who happened to have the Sonic ice cream, so I got to try that for the first time. And it was pretty good. I was not expecting it to be blue, raspberry, and cherry flavored, but it was really good. Although it did melt very fast because it's July in Washington, D.C., so...
There you go. Elise, thanks for joining us again.
It's great to be back.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the new Sonic Prime episode. I knew you wanted to rant about that, so I guess we got.
Oh yeah. Well, also, school has been pretty rough, so I kind of needed a little fun.
Sure, that's what we're here for. So yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that you already finished your finals, so you're right back for the next.
I'm doing the summer semester now.
Oh, no summer vacation, huh? You go
Nope.
100%. Oof. Tough.
You just did it. They're just working you to the ground.
Yeah. But yeah, I just can't stop.
Workaholic.
Something like that.
And now we're putting you back to work as well here.
No, you're good.
There we go. Yeah, Melting Man, you sound a bit off today because you're actually at the My Little Pony convention, was it?
Yeah, right now I've done a bit of traveling because, yeah, after this live stream, I'm going to TrotCon, which is My Little Pony Brony themed convention. It's hosting it in Ohio this year, which is only a few hours away from where I currently live in Illinois. So I tried to get things planned and set up. So yeah, reason why I sound different is because I'm on my phone right now, and I haven't quite checked into my hotel apartment because there's a bit of a confusion. Like, oh, I got the card. Like, wait, there's someone's stuff in there, so I gotta get that situated. So yeah, now I'm just sitting in the parking lot. So if you're wondering why I sound weird, that's why.
So you have important things to do, and instead we kidnap you for a stupid stream again.
Well, hey, it's the 50th. It's a big event, you know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Indeed, you
Hopefully
are.
Hopefully you're staying nice and cool in your car, Melting Man.
Yeah, I got the AC on in my car, so I hope that's not making too much noise.
No, we can't hear it.
Okay, that's good.
And you had anything happen to you? Or life just bubbling along?
Just plodding along, singing a song, doing a few...
Well, I met up with him in Southend when I came back from Edinburgh, and we saw the new Transformers film together.
Yeah, was an
how was that?
movie.
Yeah, it was all right. It was a pretty decent. It was probably the first decent Transformers film I saw since Revenge of the Fallen, and it was. I thought it was pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a bit of an inaccurate video game reference, but other than that, the Transformers look really good.
And there was a few references to Sonic in there.
What?
Also,
References Sonic in a Transformers movie?
Yeah, basically just sort of like codename banter between like the main human character and his younger brother. So when they're talking on walkie-talkie, Noah's nicknamed Sonic, and his younger brother's been nicknamed Tails, because apparently his younger brother's too paranoid that people could be listening in on their conversation.
It's pretty cool.
I did not expect that, but all right.
Yeah. And of course, Luke wants to get a hold of Wheeljack just because it looks like Urkel.
Yeah, it looks like Urkelbot.
Yeah. So a second reference to Sonic because of the fact that the actors also voiced Sonic in
in
the American. Yeah.
It's kind of especially funny because like Optimus Primal's in that movie, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Optimus Primal was originally voiced by Gary Chalk, who was in the Sonic movie.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Just going very full circle all of a sudden.
Yeah, especially considering yes. I mean, it happened before with like the first Sonic movie and Bumblebee, which I made a bit of a like pointing all that out in like Sonic movie Dissected, much to the annoyance of Roger, being like, "Oh wow, they're practically the same movie."
Yeah, I'm such a cynical bastard. I got so many comments on Last Dissected. I'm always a cynical one, and I'm unsure. Sorry.
Especially how you look in the thumbnail.
Forces crushed my spirit, I guess. But hey, mostly good news today. So, yeah, shall we start?
Yeah.
Get started, or do we have more small talk to go through?
Well, I mean, you did segue very nicely into the new Sonic game that has been announced since our last stream.
Yeah, we haven't officially talked about it on stream, so I might as well get your opinions on. Especially since we got a new trailer and all. So yeah, what's your thoughts on Sonic Superstars? Or do you expect me to talk about a different game?
What? No. Yeah, Sonic Superstars is very exciting. It's I'm very curious how co-op is going to work because like all of these like classic Sonic games where like player 2 could like take control of Tails, but like
what do you mean
the camera? Yeah, the camera would always focus on Sonic, and so like it was hard to play Tails and like actually play the game because you're constantly falling off the screen, dying, or just being left behind. So I'm curious how they're gonna not only make that work with 4 players. And it seems as though, from the footage we've seen, it seems as though playing co-op slows the game down a lot. So I'm wondering if that's their solution.
Yeah, I'm really
Oh.
curious how that's going to be. I mean, in my last video, I said the level design got to be very flat. I think the new trailer disproved me. Level design did look more complicated, but guess it's left to see. I don't know. But yeah, anyone else has any thoughts on Superstars?
I thought it looks nice. It does look very colourful. It looks very pretty. It kind of looks like what Sonic 4 should have been like. It's a lot more detailed. There's a lot more going on. I mean, I was very defensive about Sonic 4 when it first came out, but over time, I started to get that it does look a bit on the bland side. It kind of feels like a generic iOS phone game, but here it feels a lot more alive. It has that classic Sonic feel to it, but in a 3D space. And I like the idea, but I do agree that the Robotnik boss does look a bit basic. It looks a bit bit basic looking. But I really like the idea of how each Chaos Emerald has its own individual power-ups, deviating away from the wisps. It kind of makes me think of in Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog when they introduced the Chaos Emeralds and how they have their own superpowers.
Indeed. Guess we'll see what happens. Elise, you had any thoughts on this, or not your kind of Sonic game?
I haven't really seen much of it, to be honest. As I said, I've been pretty busy. So,
Fair enough.
But what I've seen from the trailers, it does look pretty interesting. I do like the colors, and I like how you have more characters involved. I miss having multiple characters that you can choose from besides Sonic. I do like the idea that the Chaos Emeralds have their own powers that they can give to characters. I think that would be a great way to utilize the emeralds again instead of just using the wisps.
Indeed.
But other than that, I can't really say I'm excited for it. So
that's your kind of game. You prefer them dark and edgy.
No, maybe not dark and edgy, but I like a little bit more complexity.
Fair enough. You have anything to share?
Well, obviously, I think most people kind of call Sonic Superstars as new Super Sonic Bros. In a way, just because of how it's all 2.5D type thing, even though there is a 3D section for the special stages. But from what I've seen so far, it does look pretty promising. Obviously, I'm wondering how the multiplayer co-op thing will work out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it quietly.
Alrighty, guess I won't have to bother asking Melting Man. He has embargo on Sonic games, especially classic Sonic. But yeah, I think I owe the game an apology. My last video was kind of negative, and it's proving me.
Yeah, I thought you were a bit harsh, mate, because I thought you were pretty colours, rainbows, nice clean water. I don't want that in my Sonic game.
Exactly.
A little more set
It looks
piece.
too nice.
I don't know. The art style is just a little too soft for me. I mean, lately, a new fan game, Sonic Legends, was out. And I was looking at the art style, and I love this one way more, much more sharp and detailed. So then I look back, and Superstars kind of I don't know. But yeah, I guess I was too cynical. Oh well.
Yeah. You can blame Legends for that then.
An interesting thing to point out is that looking at the games from the past several years, it's interesting that Amy Rose, her last playable appearance in a mainline game was 2006, and suddenly this year she has 3 playable appearances.
Yeah, finally making a comeback. About time, since he's supposed to be main character.
And in one of those, at least one of those, hopefully all 3 of them, but in Sonic Origins Plus, she actually has a super form.
Yeah, I've seen it. Throwing a lot of hammers too.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that's also going to be in Superstars and Frontiers.
We'll see.
But I am hoping though that if she does go Super in Frontiers, she does turn gold, because I don't really like that only Sonic has a different color scheme in Origins Plus.
We'll see, but yeah, so far Sonic is Shadow, and maybe Silver are the only ones who change color.
Silver, yeah.
Yeah.
And Blaze.
All right, and Blaze.
Well, Blaze uses the Soul Emeralds, not the Chaos Emeralds.
Still.
That's true. Just wanted to point that out.
Fair enough. Even though I barely know the difference, but yeah, technically true. But yeah, something like Superstars. Guess we'll wait. Well, it's coming out in September, or we don't know yet.
I think it's September.
Yeah, pretty early. Man, I'm still shocked we have a new game within a year. I wasn't expecting to even see anything about the new game until 3 years later. So lucky us. Good eating this year.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like the release date is just set for fall. So
could be anything. We'll see then.
Yeah, maybe we've got to wait till Trip actually falls over again. Then we'll get the game.
There you go.
Yeah, so usually, I'm guessing fall means either September or October, because if it's released in November, that's usually considered a holiday release, not a fall release.
Never can tell.
We'll see. I guess maybe
also, this will be one of the few times that we had to have a major Sonic game compete against a major Mario game with a similar theme.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
That's gotta be interesting. We'll see. But yeah, Super Mario definitely beat Sonic at the movies, so we'll see how well they'll do this time.
Well, the next movie's going to have Shadow.
That's true. That's gonna be interesting.
It's got Shadow in it. We all win.
Yay!
But first, the Knuckles TV show. That should be coming very soon too, huh?
Supposedly, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that one.
Apparently all being filmed in the UK. Makes a change. Maybe. I don't know.
I thought the movie 3 was filmed in the UK, was it? So I guess they won't do much of a Sonic Adventure 2 adaptation then.
Well, I think both Knuckles, the Knuckles series and Sonic 3 are being filmed in the UK, but I'm not sure if it's just like on sound stages or they're actually filming on location.
Probably mostly sound stages, I imagine. But yeah, we'll see, I guess. Because London isn't immediately what I think of as Sonic location. I mean, I guess they don't want to use San Francisco a second time. But then Rio de Janeiro or something would be a closer fit to an alternative San Francisco or something. I don't know. But guess we'll see. At least you're all happy to see a lot of London return. But right, shall we move on to Sonic Prime, who suddenly had a random new episode revealed.
And everyone rejoiced.
And everyone rejoiced. Particularly Elise and I. Kind of.
Okay, then I'll leave you to talk mostly about it. What do you think, Sala? Give us a synopsis of what happened.
Alright, so our last episode ended off with Shadow punching Sonic in the face. And this episode starts off with kind of a flashback of what Shadow's been up to this whole time. He's just been floating around Shatter Space trying to join Sonic. But he can't get through. He can't get through the portals. And then he finally, figures out, what's going on, kind of, with Sonic. Where, every time he goes fast, he kind of breaks down the reality a little bit, so he's able to communicate with Sonic. And then he's able to drag Sonic out. And he's like, finally, I got you out. Now I can beat the shit out of you. And he does, because Sonic deserves it. And, yeah, so they basically kind of, I forget the word I'm looking for. Kind of put their knowledge together to try and figure out what's going on. And Shadow, shows him that there is still one more portal that both of them can enter. And it is basically just the original world, but everyone's a ghost. And Sonic takes several minutes to figure that out for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
And so they Shadow decides that Sonic's had enough opportunities to fuck this up, so he's going to try and take the mission himself. And he assumes, for some reason, that that Sonic's tech that he got from 9 is what allows him to go into these dimensions, even though Sonic only got the tech when he was already in one of the dimensions. So they have this huge fight scene, which is actually pretty cool. And then they fight over all of the tech pieces, and Shadow eventually steals them all, and he's still not able to get into somewhere. And I do like that they acknowledge that Shadow had just assumed it would work, because that was a really weird assumption. But they realize that they have to work together in order to solve this.
And that was the moment Shadow died inside.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's kind of funny that, like, we've complained so much about games' characterization of Sonic being dumb and Shadow being a jerk, and now they both are, but they've like, Shadow has given some of his jerkiness to Sonic's stupidity, so it kind of evens out.
Finally, the ultimate
Shadow.
duo, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Elise, what do you think of this episode?
I really like Shadow, and I called it, he's best character.
Yeah.
I called it. I so called it. He's best character. I'm sorry, I'm looking at that screenshot.
Yeah. Especially with the face of going like, yeah, I'm better than you.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was so frustrating for so long for Sonic to just do his thing and nobody to call him out on, but boy is he called out on today.
Yeah, and the whole time Shadow was just fighting him, I'm like, yeah! It's like, do it.
Yeah.
Beat the bejeebus out of him.
It's very, very cathartic to watch, yes.
Oh, man. But yeah, and here's the thing, is that Shadow is actually being very practical in his assessment of the situation. Because, an interesting point he brought up was that 9 can't be trusted. And I actually agree with him, because, I think Shadow knows that if 9 was to find out that Sonic is after the shards and if they reassemble them, then 9 and the others will disappear as well, and he doesn't want to take that chance of them trying to stop them. So, it's like, yeah, because I think these Shatter Space versions of the characters, even though they actually do come from Sonic's original friends, they would want to keep their existence going, and Shadow is not willing to take that risk.
Yeah,
So,
that is definitely like the moral dilemma here. Is like, their world has basically been destroyed, and the only way to reform it is to get rid of these 5 others, or however many. I think it's 5.
Yeah, a bit shame it's confirmed we're not going to see any new dimensions now, I guess. Although now they'll be mixing up a little bit. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Melting Man, you have something to say about this episode?
Oh yeah, new Prime episode. I'll just keep it brief. Yeah, I liked it. It's definitely nice, lots of cool action scenes with Sonic and Shadow fighting, and definitely continues my promise, or at least my optimism about Shadow being well written in Sonic Prime. And yeah, this episode too is like, yeah, he's beats up Sonic for causing all this mess, and he wants to fix it himself, and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's good. It's definitely a nice refresher from all the shit we had to deal with in the meta era for Shadow. And especially IDW. Although, to be fair, some of the more recent issues are slowly fixing his character.
The thing is, he's still written the same. It's just that it's given more breathing room, more motivation, and a little bit more redemption, which really helps, I guess. But
yeah, that's kind of thing. He actually has more of a he actually has more of a motivation this time, instead of like, every other time in the meta era where it just kind of shows up and he's all like, yeah, I hate friends, I hate you, me, being all grouchy Smurf.
He has a little bit more going on now, yeah. So, good stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm curious where this is going next with Sonic and Shadow teaming up, because Shadow can't really do much, so I'm curious.
If you can call it a team up, Shadow's stuck in the Shatter Space, so there's not much he can do unless he stows away on the Chaos Council ship the next time they come through.
Oh, that's a good point. He could go through Eggman's ship, yeah. But yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for Dr. Robotnik to escape from the dimension. I'll be happy. Like, we escaped Sonic, and immediately Shadow jumps on their ship and starts beating him up. It's like, oops. That'll be funny.
And I'm going to say, though, like, I also called it, where it's like, Shadow is so competent that they have to shove him away into the shatter space, otherwise he would get the series over with in 3 episodes.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Definitely.
It's because... Oh, man, and that's why they need Sonic to be a moron, because that's the only way they're going to keep it going through 24 more episodes.
The mind boggles at the thought of Shadow being in the pirate episode with Knuckles trying to have him party and eat sea dogs. Shadow would just yell at
Yeah.
him.
Oh, by the way, it's lucky that for Sonic that Shadow couldn't see everything he was doing in the shatter spaces.
Or he'd be
Otherwise,
punching
he
him
would
even more.
just be pounding him. He would be roasting him.
Yeah.
Figuratively or literally?
A little both.
I think it's both.
He's like, how are you this stupid?
Why must you fail me so often?
Yeah, that bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna say something that might be a bit controversial, but I hate Prime Sonic with every inch of my body.
Yeah, I definitely feel that.
That's not a good sign if you don't like the main character that much.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I've never hated a Sonic character, and that's saying something because apparently there are a lot of hateable characters in the Sonic series, at least according to public opinion. But, oh man, does Prime Sonic really boil my blood.
Yes, we all know from the as we all know from the Sonic Prime Dissected episode, yeah.
Look, I thought he was dumb then, but I am convinced now that he traded his entire brain for energy.
It was kind of funny because it feels like the general consensus is that people actually do like this version of Sonic, and I guess maybe it's just me, but I feel like that's kind of more of like the teenage girl kind of thing, like, oh yeah, he's so cute and dorky, that kind of thing. But I don't know. Like, personally, I'm fine with it. I guess it's just more optimistic stupidity that I'm favored. But I'm like, okay, I'm fine with, because after dealing with the self-aware, self-deprecating shit from 10 years ago, it's like, yeah, I'm fine with this.
Well, it's either that or him just literally being punched or landing on his head multiple times as a result of his stupidity.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like that one joke Roger made about Sonic going through brain damage.
Yeah. And then
He's got a concussion so many times because he keeps falling on his face. But, yeah, well, also, it's like when he finds out that his friends are basically stuck in limbo, his real friends, and then he gets really defensive when, like, Shadow is, like, tells him that the others are not real, and then he's defending his, like, dimension friends, but every time he was in those dimensions, he just kept comparing them or thinking of them as his real friends.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's really weird, yeah. So
it's
That's
like-
a really good point.
And his friends in this dimension, like, arguably have it even worse because they're stuck in stasis saying one line over and over again.
Yeah.
Whereas 9 has a pretty miserable life. And then all these other characters just feel incomplete. And so I'm like, Sonic, I think you would want to fight to get your friends back together. It's like, but no, it's like, that's why I'm on Shadow's side, because he's actually thinking practically about this.
Yeah.
And he doesn't, he knows what he has to do, even if he's not gonna like doing it.
But alas, it's
And
going to
the-
take Sonic until the final episode, so we have 30
Yeah, and then-
episodes left to go.
The look on Shadow's face when he realizes he has to rely on the hopeless moron who shattered the shatter space in the first place.
Yeah, Shadow and all that grief and Sonic giving him a hug, and I mean, geez, after this episode, the Tornado fans were going nuts over that episode.
Oh boy. I did like in the fight scene in the shatter space when the latter part where I was kind of getting Sonic Adventure 2 vibes. Especially when Shadow was falling towards the void and Sonic is like rushing to save him. I'm like, That kind of reminds me of Space Colony Arc a little bit. You know, when Shadow is losing power and falls to Earth. Where it's like, although this time it didn't end tragically.
I thought you were referring to when Knuckles saved Rouge on the moon base or whatever.
No, I was thinking of the final fight on Space Colony Arc.
Speaking of the Void, though, that seems like I'm calling it now. That's a Chekhov's gun right there, because like they draw attention to it, and then like Shadow states a theory about it, and then they just move on. I think in a later episode, Sonic's going to like either fall down there or jump down there to see what's down there, and it's gonna like be the right course of action. Because it's look at all these amazing things down here that are so helpful to me on my adventure.
That's how he's going to defeat Robotnik, perhaps.
Yeah.
Making them fall into the void. We'll see. Although this episode already kind of paid off the setup, so. Since they set it up early on, and later on he had to save Shadow from it, so.
Oh, fair enough.
But yeah,
or maybe the void is going to expand, and so they have to get it. They have to get the shards back together before it does. Otherwise, it's going to swallow up the whole Shatterverse.
That's a good point. Yeah, it could also be a ticking time bomb thing. Yeah. All right. But yeah, good episode.
And can I just say that the part that made me laugh the most was when Sonic and Shadow started fighting, and Sonic punches Shadow, and in that punch, Shadow managed to grab the piece of tech from his hand using his mouth.
Oh yeah, people have been enjoying themselves doing pictures of that and just replacing it with something else. Like,
oh no!
I think I saw one where they just replaced the gadget with like a cartoon bone dog, like cartoon dog bone. Yeah.
Yeah. Or frisbee.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Frisbee.
But yeah, I did like the fight itself. A lot of great action set pieces there. And actually, if you do look closely, you can see when Sonic and Shadow grab the tech from each other, and when they, it's like, and when, you know, they put it on either their gloves or their shoes.
Yeah.
Animation very
running
detailed.
around. It's nice. Yeah, them running around while the holograms just repeat themselves. It kind of threw me off when I first watched this episode. Like Tails was talking, I'm like, "Oh right, this is the show where Tails is voiced by Rainbow Dash."
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw that bit, I couldn't help think of that bit from Rick and Morty when in that place with the holograms, and there was like this one. There was a postman mailman going, "My man," and then he clicked into a wall.
Oh yeah. My.
Classic.
Yeah, I think maybe that's why Shadow really desperately wants to, try and get everything sorted. Because
I can imagine like holding a knife up to Sonic saying, "Are you in simulation? Are you in simulation?"
I also took a few more screenshots. I did like this one where Rouge, like when Sonic is realizing that his friends are frozen, and there's one where Rouge is speaking and Shadow is looking over his shoulder at her.
Oh yeah.
All right, if you want me to show them, you have to send them to me, I guess.
Yeah, I put it in the studio chat.
Oh.
Studio chat.
So next to the word studio, there's a speech bubble and an invite button. Click the speech bubble to open up the chat.
Mm-hmm. Here, I'll send it in the.
Yep.
Oh boy, you have to explain to me stuff on there. How embarrassing.
Well, hey, I'm like, hey, I'm in a hotel room and I'm still trying to get used to, going out and applying for one on my own. Although my mom mostly helped with that because that was a bit of a last minute addition there with, got to get a room reserved in the hotel. Sorry, Mom, I'll plan ahead next time.
So I came up with an idea if Roger were to parody this episode, is just instead of ghosts of all the characters, just cardboard cutouts, and Sonic still thinks that they're his real friends.
Or to be like animatronics at a theme park.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like cardboard cutouts that have speakers in the back that are like all voiced by Microsoft Sam or something.
Like you get a rundown theme park.
Yeah.
Sure, that'd be amusing.
Yeah.
When you are around Sonic, I can't do anything.
And when Amy said
Yeah.
there's one hedgehog she will follow into battle, I'm just thinking, well, I hope it's not Sonic, otherwise you're screwed.
Yeah.
It's
But yeah, I got the screenshot up, so what about it?
yeah. I like how Shadow is like looking over his shoulder at Rouge. It's kind of I don't know if it's supposed to be like fan service for the Shadouge fans, but I like it all the same.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
I think
Shadow
it's
Rouge
just-
hasn't had much screen time yet. Yeah, what is it, Sala?
I think it's just acknowledgement of their relationship.
Your friendship, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I guess that seems to imply that their adventures in Gun already happened in this thing.
Well, I find it weird that Shadow seems to be the one who is most concerned about getting Green Hill back together, and Sonic isn't.
Yeah, maybe he's the asshole that keeps bringing that Green Hill Zone and these recent Sonic stuff. Yeah, he's to blame.
Shadow's behind it all along. That's a twist.
What a twist.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh,
there's a lot
this
of
will be the
people-
ultimate Green Hill Zone.
It does bother me that Green Hill Zone is implied to be their entire dimension, because they don't even say, "Oh, we have to go back to my dimension or fix my dimension." It's just we have to fix Green Hill, as if that's the entire identity of its whole dimension now. But oh well. Guess so.
Yeah, Green Hill is now just a giant planet, and not just a random part of an island.
Well, also, like when Sonic sees this Green Hill for the first time, Shadow tells him, like outright, that there's something wrong with this place. It's like a ghost. But then Sonic enters it, and then he's all like, "Oh my gosh, it's Green Hill! I'm back! Yada yada yada!" And then I'm like, and you could tell right away though, the way everything is washed out, that there's something wrong. And yet he doesn't catch on.
Yeah.
He's really slow. How ironic for Sonic. Yeah.
Must be colour.
Here.
If only his brain was as fast as his feet.
Yeah.
Well, hey, now there's a bit of irony. You know, like in Avenger 2, everyone's like, "Oh, Shadow, he's Sonic." No, I'm not. And then now it's the other way around. Now Sonic's completely colorblind of how Green Hill Zone's not quite all there. It all comes full circle.
Yeah.
I guess that should
But yeah,
be my
some of those-
parody. That Sonic never notices that there's something wrong with this dimension. Just act like this is completely normal. Like, yep. What are you talking about, Shadow? We done it. We're home. Yay.
Sonic just gives up right there. He goes and lays in his movie chair and just
He just sits home and has a whole conversation with Tails for hours, even though Tails just repeats the same sentence, but he doesn't even know it. He thinks he has a whole conversation with him. He just
Yeah,
cares
every
so
time it's
little
like,
about his friends, he doesn't even notice. Sorry, you said something, Ewan?
Yeah. No, just like, you know, the way like Sonic's just talking with like Ghost Tails, and Tails just keeps repeating what he's saying, and like Sonic just eventually snaps and goes like, "Shut up, Tails! I'm talking here." Anyways, like I said, "Shut up, Tails!" It just goes on and on. It's just it'll be his internal hell forever.
And a hair where Tails never shuts up.
Exactly. Because even I was starting to get annoyed with how many times he was repeating himself. I was like, I hope they're not going to keep doing this. Come on,
Yeah,
don't
now.
do it.
Yeah, it kind of makes me feel like, oh, is he just, repeating himself constantly? Like, I kind of feel like he's going to slowly turn into Rainbow Dash. Yeah, it's the voice, damn it. It's like, I've heard the actress's voice and other stuff, but here, for the most part, with the different tales, she's really channeling her Rainbow Dash voice.
Yeah.
You and your ponies. You can't get it out of your head.
You can never escape the ponies.
Clearly not.
Oh, something else I almost forgot to mention is that Sonic is a gaslighter in this show.
Oh, what do you mean with that?
Oh, yeah, I think you mentioned that in the Dissected episode 1.
Yeah, I said he borderline gaslight Shadow, but here he does outright gaslight him several times.
What did he do then? Because I don't remember him lying or.
Well, I remember when Shadow was showing him the crystal, and Sonic is like staring at it, like hypnotized, and he's about to touch it, and then Shadow just says, "Don't." And then Sonic says, "I wasn't going to touch it. I was just pointing at it to tell you not to touch it." And Shadow lets it roll off. But then the one where Shadow actually snaps, because I think at that point he's had enough. And I can't say I blame him. Is when Shadow tells him we gotta put the prison back together, but it's like we can't trust any of the others because they're not your real friends, and they can't be trusted. And then Sonic basically says, "Back up off the others," you know, say like they're real. This reality, like their realities are real and whatnot. And then Shadow is about to tell him, "I'm taking the tech and going after the shards myself." And Sonic's like, "Okay, I'll just go in, get the shards," and Shadow's like, "That's not the plan." And then, of course, Sonic, being stupid, says, like, "I'm totally confused. I thought the plan was," and then Shadow says, "Sonic, you broke our world. Why would I trust you to do anything?" And then Sonic says, "Okay, I can see how you might think that, but..." And then Shadow just lets him have it. It's like, that's the time where Shadow snaps. And I can't say I blame him, because it's... To me, that moment, it was like Shadow, or Sonic saying to Shadow, it's like, "Okay, I can see why you don't trust me because of this incident." But, oh man. I'm sorry, that was gaslighting.
Fair enough.
It's like, I'm
Shadow
sorry you think you can't trust me, essentially.
Shadow becoming the audience surrogate for a second there.
Yes. It's like, but yeah, Sonic's a gaslighter in this show. Especially towards Shadow.
Yeah, it's not good, no.
That's why I don't like him.
Gaslighting isn't real, you're just crazy.
No, that's just fog, that's just fog.
Would be funny if this show has the Sonic Says fragment from the older show, but now Sonic's constantly gaslighting or lying. Shadow needs to slap some sense into him. If people touch you, that's good. You deserve it, probably.
Oh, God.
And also, some of these in-between shots, like, especially during the fight scenes with the squash and stretch.
Yeah, animation is really awesome here. Absolutely. A lot of gems.
Although, if you pause it in sometimes at just the right moments, you'll get, like, really weird.
Yeah, those weird in-between frames, but yeah, it's like, hey, at least it's a hell of a lot better than the Family Guy-esque budget they had with Sonic Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really love the art style. So even if you occasionally have a weird-looking in-between shot, why not? It's just funny.
Yeah, well, I also found another one and I put it in the chat. This one's really awkward.
Oh, yeah.
I do like how a lot of thought went into the choreography of the fight scenes.
Well, it better be. They take up 90% of the whole episode.
Well, not just this episode, but also across Prime so far.
It's pretty much one giant action scene.
Yeah. With a lot of dynamic angles and such, and camera movements.
Yeah, and I like how they show when Sonic and Shadow spin dash in episode 2. It's like they kind of like dive forward into the ground so they can start rolling. And which
like drop dashing.
Yeah, like,
that's a good detail.
I would say I think the show's greatest strength is its action.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially after Sonic Boom, it is very stiff action sequences.
Exactly, the polar opposite.
Yeah, it's really funny how they're each other's polar opposite.
Because Boom is like just more talk, less action, whilst Prime is more sort of less talk, more action type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and good.
Yeah, some of these in between shots, man.
little art pieces.
But yeah,
almost looks like the yin and yang symbol. Not gonna lie.
Good point. Yeah, maybe it's like a take on Sonic and Knuckles logo from the Sonic and Knuckles game, where Sonic and Knuckles' heads are intertwined. You could make a fun yin yang out of it, yeah. But yeah, definitely this episode is very good for Sonic Shadow shippers. I mean, the whole episode is about them trying to strip each other from their clothing, so...
Oh no!
Well, I mean, hey, with how they only wear gloves and shoes, there's not much going on there.
Oh no!
Sorry for
And it's-
destroying your brain.
Yeah.
Yes, take off that glove, yes. Show off that naked hand, Sonic.
Especially considering how like Shadow at one point
Oh
literally
no!
is just holding the emitter device in his mouth, sort of things. Like, yeah, that's how saucy he's getting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Round.
bonkers.
Oh God, no.
I'm surrounded by idiots.
Yeah. Time for the ultimate 2-play, 4-play, whatever.
Stop it.
Good stuff.
uh,
Or not.
Because it all depends.
Either way, yeah, I'm happy with it. So, but man, you watched all episodes in one go today for research?
Well, yesterday.
Oh,
It's
yesterday.
mostly just because I haven't watched it all, but because I don't have a Netflix account. So with like episode 2 turning up, and then like everyone saying like, right, we're going to be talking about this new Sonic Prime episode, and I'm like, crap. So I had to basically try and find a place just to watch all the episodes, which I did. So I was able to catch up with what the heck was going on, and so when I came to this one, it's like, oh yeah, Sonic is a complete.
But yeah, I'm impressed you can watch all the episodes in one sitting, man. I can't watch more than 2 episodes in a row. I'm just exhausted after that. It's just so much action. It's like, oh,
My
I need a
sister and
break.
I, we watched all one sitting when it first came out.
Yeah, same with me. Yeah, one go, yeah.
I could only watch them in pairs. It's kind of exhausting to watch. It's very good, but I have to cut them into bite-sizable pieces for me.
I think the pacing is an issue because we jump from worlds to worlds so quickly. I think it would have actually done the pacing a big favor if we stayed in New York for the first season. Then in the second season, then we go to the boss cage and no place, and then the third season, it's about putting everything back together.
I think it would help if there's more time cuts between the episodes, because now it really goes on and on and on. Like, it just feels like a day that never ends. Like with a regular TV show, you have like an episode, the story is over, and then it cuts, and then we follow them again a couple days later or something. But now everything happens in one go, so it's like you never get a break. It just keeps going and going.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of as I said, a pacing issue, which is why when the pirate episode happens and then Sonic decides to take time to have a party, that's when it feels jarring, because he's been going at everything at breakneck speed up until that point.
That's true, yeah.
It's and partly because there is this sense of urgency. He's always like, oh, I gotta fix things right now, I gotta fix things, and then he just gets to the pirate world and he's like, ooh, food, and he just doesn't care anymore.
To be fair, I guess you do need food to keep up your strength, but yeah, he takes it.
Yeah, I mean, all that saving the world can really make you work up an appetite.
Indeed. Yeah, the references.
Yeah. But as I said, I feel like the pacing is a big issue. Because, especially if especially for binge watching, where they released all these episodes at once. Another series that released seasons that I saw was Race to the Edge, which is a How to Train Your Dragon TV show. It's really good. But they would release, I think, 12 or 13 episodes at a time. But I never felt like it was like rushing through the story. You had episodes where characters would just, do other things. Like, I guess you could call them filler episodes, but they would either explore another kind of dragon, or they would set up a plot point that would come back later. But, yeah, it's like they would release all these episodes that you could binge at a time, but you never felt like it was rushed. Whereas with Prime Sonic, it has fewer episodes released at a time, but it feels like it just rushed through everything.
Indeed, yeah. Oh, wow. guess
Yeah.
it's a different kind of.
I mean, I get it. Sonic is supposed to go fast, but there is such a thing as going too fast.
Indeed, and we are learning all about it. All right, I think we're done. Luke, you got something to say about this episode?
I pretty much like how it was just mostly Shadow giving a right bollocking to Sonic. And it does make me think like how Shadow's personality or his motives keeps changing throughout the episode. Like one minute he's like, I have to show you like what's actually going on. Then the next moment it's like, right, I have to kick the shit out of you. And then the next moment he's like, oh, I have to team up with you, don't I? But I was because I was comparing like how he was depicted in Boom, and I think like Prime Shadow is a lot better here, and I do like the fight sequence, and I mean like it's pretty much interesting to see like where it will go from here, especially now there's going to be a big interdimensional war going on.
Indeed.
It was really funny to see Sonic jump on Sonic and ride him like a skateboard.
Oh yeah, I saw someone point that out. I was like, oh hey, Crash to Insanity reference. With that humility bit.
I love that game, yeah. It's too bad we don't hear Sonic scream like we do with Neo Cortex all the time.
Oh yeah.
Shadow literally made him eat dirt.
Yeah, or running through a house full of hot ladies like in Twin Sandy.
Oh no.
Ladies, excuse me, man. Are those real?
Oh boy.
Mother? Yeah, mother?
Naughty.
And also, you kind of got this like video game thing going on, like, oh, you must collect all the MacGuffins and bring them here. Do you understand that, Sonic? So,
Yes.
what's the question again?
How are you even still alive at this point?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I just realised now it's probably like the dynamic between Shadow and Sonic is probably similar to between Frank Grimes and Homer.
Oh no!
Oh boy.
Oh no! Don't.
I have no idea what that is.
So that's like really famous episode of The Simpsons where the premise of the episode from the writer's perspective is, what if a normal person just met Homer?
Oh
And-
yeah, that one.
Oh.
And like naturally he's like completely baffled that this lazy, stupid person is so well off. Like he's been to space, he's met multiple presidents, he's owned an elephant, all this kind of stuff.
Oh, I gotta tell you though, my friend Erin also watched the episode, and the part that really ticked her off the most with Sonic was when he said to Shadow, on the bright side, I'll get to hold this over you forever. Oh man, she was so mad. And I don't blame her because Sonic does not do that, to people. Yeah. In fact, there's an example in Sonic Unleashed when Chip remembers he's Light Gaia and he goes to fix this, and Sonic basically says, hey, I'm coming with you. It's like, do I need a reason to help out a friend? So, oh man, those Sonic is so annoying.
To be fair, he probably means it as a joke, but I see.
I know, but I don't see him saying that to Shadow. I can see him saying that to Knuckles, but not Shadow.
Yeah.
I guess he just wants to get a rise out of Shadow, as if Shadow wasn't pissed off at him enough.
But yeah, that whole time though, it was just so satisfying to see Shadow just beat the snot out of Sonic, because I'm like, you deserve that. Although at the same time, I'm not sure. I don't think that did wonders for his intelligence, because again, his brain was probably just getting rattled inside his skull again.
Man, now I can just imagine if Roger ever bothered doing a remastered version of Punch Bag the Game, that he would have like a version where it's Sonic Prime Sonic that you beat up.
Also, another thing that irked me is that the writers basically came out and said that Shadow would be a more competent protagonist, because Sonic says, "No way, Shadow! I know what you're capable of, and that's not going to happen." It's like, you basically just said that Shadow is capable. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, and if he was allowed to enter those places, you wouldn't have 24 episodes. You just have 3 more episodes. But we gotta sell that merchandise, so we gotta send the idiot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I do really love how Shadow is characterized in Prime. I also like how they show that he has a range of emotions, even if he is more stoic than Sonic is. Like, he shows that he's surprised, he's, like, troubled. It's like, you know, just aside from being angry and ticked off. So yeah, like, when Sonic asks about the void, then Shadow makes that face almost as, like, a haunting face. You know, where it's like he has no idea what it is, all he knows is that it's not good.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that it really like considers those things. It doesn't just immediately dismiss them like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's not relevant to my mission. But he actually does consider other things. So that makes this a much more rounded Shadow than he was before.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't really
And when he
about-
when he does show Sonic, after seeing Sonic shocked that to see his friends in such a state, you know, he almost shows some compassion towards him. Because when Sonic asks, "How do I fix this?" Shadow just says, "Come with me, I'll show you." It's like he almost does show some compassion towards him in that, or I wouldn't say almost, he does. So, I like how he's a lot more multi-layered here.
Sala, where the heck did that screenshot come from Shadow riding Sonic and Sonic
Oh.
Frontiers?
That's a mod someone made for Sonic Frontiers recently. Just coincidentally, they made a mod of Sonic is the skateboard.
That's perfect.
Oh my gosh.
That is absolutely perfect, yes. A whole mini game out of this.
Whoever made that mod must be psychic.
They must make a mod of a Tony Hawk game where you can play the whole game like this, doing stunts and all that. And then insert all
I
the
don't know
levels
why,
of Sonic.
but now I thought of that Sonic Boom episode where Sonic and Knuckles were doing that race, like cartwheel race or something, where Sonic is it's like I can't think of it, but they go through like cactus, glass, things like that, and Sonic is so nonchalant, whereas Knuckles is just getting beaten up.
I feel like they should do. I feel like they should do a mod for Sonic Adventure 2 where they do that, where they place the board with Sonic, but like take Sonic out, so it looks like just sliding down the pavement.
Good stuff. Poor Sonic. He's just trying to be a nice hero, and we all hate him so much.
Like I just that gave me the idea of like there's some level in a video game where it's like, you know, City Escape where you're going down a hill, but instead of riding a skateboard, your character's just falling the entire time. Just ow.
Falling and rolling over. And not rolling in a Sonic way, but in a painful way.
Yep.
We're so sadistic.
Ugh. I'm sorry.
Shall we move on to Sonic X? Stop talking about Sonic being punished and tortured?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's move on to something even more tragic.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. It's a bad day for Shadow right now.
Shadow's just having like the worst day in Prime and in X.
Pretty much, yeah. Anyone wants to do a synopsis of this?
Yeah, I kind of want to do it.
Alrighty. Go right ahead.
Yeah, because what's great about this episode is that it's an Eggman-focused episode, so there's no Sonic in this episode. And it involves Eggman joining the Rebel Alliance. So it starts off with Rouge in the bath, having a nice drink, and reminding Bo-kun about what she holds over him. Apparently, Eggman's ship has entered, are chasing the Metarex and into some kind of battlefield where, like, this rebel squadron full of, like, young adults are going against the Metarex, but are like losing badly. So Shadow decides to intervene and help them. And the rebels, they've taken a liking to these new heroes, even though don't know who they're actually bad guys. And so they try to take them to the base and have a bit of a party. And the girl, the rebel leader, known as Molly, has a nice chat with Shadow, who he refers to as the Black Wind. Although to that, it kind of sounds like Black Doom, but a bit more gassy. That's a bit too much beans. Yeah. So anyway, this other rebel guy called Leon, not too sure about these guys because Eggman is like in Shadow, looking for an emerald, and Molly's like, "Oh, I know it is. It's in a mine." And Leon says, "I'll give you the key." And he seems to be a bit annoyed about something. Rouge makes a passing comment that, "Oh, this girl reminds me of you." Like, how is Shadow like a girl? This woman.
Luke, you still there?
Hello?
I'm going to...
Luke?
Hello?
Well, we had a bit of trouble there.
Hello?
Can you start over?
Yeah, you cut
We
out.
hear you now, Luke.
So, so how much of did I lose?
Last we heard was Shadow or Rouge thinks Molly reminds her of Shadow.
Oh, right, yeah. So they were saying like they were going to the mine to get the emerald, and Leon gave Molly a key, and he seems a bit annoyed about something. So on the way, Molly was saying like how they were once a mighty empire. They had a great civilization. They were planning to colonize and take over the galaxy. But thanks to the Metarex, they've been diminished to absolutely nothing. So in a way, they're a bit similar to the British Empire. So when they reached the mine, they got the emerald. But it turns out it was all a trap, because it turns out that Leon is a traitor, because he was working with the Metarex in an effort to sell out Eggman for allowing them to live. So, but Shadow, I think, saves Molly and all that, and then the entire Metarex fleet comes in, captained by what's his name?
Pale Bay Leaf.
Yeah, Pale
Bayleaf.
Pale Bayleaf, that was his name. Bit of a nasty geezer. So they've assembled their fighters and that, and it turns out that the Metarex weren't planning to let them live anyway. And Eggman got into this like mech thing, and he was like tossing the rebel fighters around like darts, which didn't blow them up or anything. Then Molly, who was a bit upset and everything, tried to give them a rousing speech while they were all still embedded in the rock. And it turns out they're like losing a battle, and all the rebel fighters are saying, "Oh, I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to fight anymore." This like really upsets Molly. Now this changes on what region you watch the episode. Now in the 4Kids version, in the 4Kids version, Molly was like, "Okay, I'm going to desert you now. Bye." So she goes off, and Shadow's like, "I hope I see her one day again someday." Now in the Japanese version, it's a lot worse. She decided to take on the entire Metarex fleet herself, only to get blown up and killed. Now this, yeah, I mean this is like Rogue One shit here. So this really devastated Shadow, because he saw a bit of Maria in her, and this pissed him off so much he took off his inhibitor rings and decides to go full force against the Metarex army and just destroy them. And so I think it just ends with Eggman on his merry way, seeing a battered Mr. Pine Man looking a bit battered, and goes, "Oh, I'm still alive," and Eggman's like, "Okay." So, and then it ends with Shadow and Rouge on like some kind of grave battlefield thing, contemplating over what happened. the end, I think.
Yeah.
So real quick, I want to say, like, you meant to say Pale Bayleaf at the end there. That's the Metarex General.
Pale
And
Bayleaf.
instead you brought up Red Pine, and we can't stop bringing up Red Pine, can we?
I forgot his name. Mr. Tree, Mr. Oak, Gary Oak.
Red Pine has been brought up more in our streams than he was in the actual show.
Plus, his death is so funny. He just got killed completely by accident. Like, nobody even cares about him. Like, oh, we accidentally killed him. Oh, well. Man, even now, it's finally the first episode where they are kind of supposed to be threatening, and even in this episode, they're not really threatening.
What's fascinating about this episode, it feels like a completely different kind of anime, where you have, like, this group of ragtag rebels trying to take on this evil galactic empire.
Yeah, I was so surprised that it show up in one episode, because I knew about this episode, but I never actually saw it. I assumed those humans would show up a couple episodes earlier, and they would stick around for the whole climax, but I guess it is just an episodic thing. Man, this episode is so weird. I mean,
it's also really dark, because you wouldn't think they would actually do that in this anime.
Yeah, and it feels like she just committed suicide because he didn't even wait for Shadow to do his thing. So she didn't even have to do anything. It's more like she made a statement.
Kamikaze.
Yeah, well, not even a kamikaze, but making a statement to her teammates. Like, oh, you have no hope anymore, so I make a statement by blowing myself up. Because if it was a serious fight, you would think she would work better together with Shadow or look what he was doing. But she was immediately like, oh, I'm just going to blow myself up now. It was very weird.
Even in, like, her last moments, where she, like, makes eye contact with Shadow, and she's, like, visibly crying, it almost seems like she's immediately regretted her decision.
Ooh, that's dark. It's even darker.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something that...
Oh, you go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to say something that's maybe controversial, but I prefer how 4Kids handled it.
I can totally understand why they did it, yeah, but go ahead.
Well, the reason is because, as you pointed out, it's almost as if she kind of did give up. You know, it's like to make a statement, you know, to keep fighting, you know, until another day. Oh, I'll just go, you know, take them on, even though I have no chance of beating them. Yeah, and then scar this guy who's been trying to help me.
This must be a really Japanese episode. I don't get the moral at all. But
yeah, me neither. But in the English dub, it's almost as if she has the wisdom to realize that I'm not in the right headspace. My comrades have betrayed me, and I'm just demoralized at this point. I can't fight today, but I can come back and fight another day. You know, so it's almost as if she makes a tactical retreat. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And then it's like almost like that inspires Shadow, where it's like she hasn't given up, but she knows that this is not a fight that she can win. But she's not giving up, but instead she's going to come back another time. And then Shadow does his whole thing because he is in the right headspace to fight. So he's like, I'll finish this fight for you.
I feel this really should have been a two-parter. Everything feels so rushed. I do love the idea of seeing Eggman in a whole different character dynamic. Because usually it's just, he's just fighting Sonic. But now him being manipulated, trying to be a hero, it's very fascinating to see Eggman just completely interact with a whole different kind of social environment. I love that.
Yeah, I did like the bit where Eggman catches Leon, like, selling him out. And he's, like, leaning up against the door saying, what are you up to here then, are you?
It's such a shame we don't see Eggman too many times in different social settings because it's always fascinating to me. Like when he has like an actual legit company he's running, or now when he's actually being hired by an army. Like it's so fascinating because he can be such an interesting, deep character. It's like what would he actually do? How would he use with this? But yeah, we sadly get very little screen time about that. It's a bit of a shame.
Well, yeah, at least Molly got more screen time than the forgettable Mellow B. You know, that B character from Archie Sonic that died from LSD.
I guess so, yeah. I also noticed that one of... Sorry, go ahead, yeah.
No, go ahead.
I kind of noticed that one of the rebel guys kind of looked like the gun commander from Shadow. Like he had the same kind of face, so except without the two different eyes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have
I think that's called heterochromia, when your eyes are two different colors. Um,
Fun
But
fact:
yeah.
heterochromia can happen in both eyes at the same time.
yeah, it can.
And like Mila Kunis and Christopher Walken both have it.
Oh, that's
I noticed a
interesting.
lot of like dogs, especially like huskies, have heterochromia.
Oh my god! Imagine Christopher Walken as Commander Walters.
Oh my god!
Oh, that would have been great. Oh, that's a shame. I
Yeah,
didn't
the
go.
Guardians new unit relation.
I bet he would make the jokes about Olive Garden more funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr.
My
Mr.
God,
President.
Project Shadow.
Mr. President, we need to destroy Shadow the Hedgehog. He's not good news.
And what we need to do is need more cowbells to stop him.
And then have a dance off with Dr. Robotnik.
Another thing I was going to say about the 4Kids English dub that I prefer is because in the Japanese one, it just felt like a rehash of Shadow losing Maria. And I'm just like, give the poor guy a break. You know, and this one didn't really feel like earned, whereas with Maria, it felt earned, whereas with this one, it's like he only knew Molly for a day. And then this happened, and also it's like, just, and almost the point where it's like Shadow can't make a human friend, especially a girl, without them dying.
Well, at least there's hope from Archie's side. Although that was thanks to Super Genesis Wave, that might change something. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it just felt pointless and like a rehash, so that's why I prefer the 4Kids dub. To me, that makes a lot more sense. I know that's controversial because
the 4-kid dub, blasphemy.
Yeah, exactly. But I just prefer that because it feels a lot more earned than in the Japanese one, and I feel it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I have to admit, I totally understand 4Kids here. Yeah.
So as Melty pointed out earlier, there is a lot that changed between the original and the 4Kids dub of this episode. And I gotta say, some of it is pretty good, some of it I don't like as much. If only there was like some kind of happy medium between the English dub and the original, because I especially like the way it ends, I'm not really satisfied either way. I do prefer the 4Kids version because of the reasons Elise mentioned earlier, but like it also just seemed a little rushed, as mentioned.
The ending made me laugh so hard, where like the camera goes, Eggman is called, and you see the Metarex completely broken in rubble, and I just go, ha 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 ha. It's like you still look broken.
Oh, hi, man.
It's like you call him just to say ha ha ha, while you look completely pathetic and broken. That just make me laugh.
Your time is running out, Eggman. It's like you say that as you look like you've just been through a blender.
Well, that's the American version. At least he says a bad guy thing. And the Japanese version doesn't even say anything. He just goes, ha 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 ha. It's like, why are you laughing?
Yeah.
You look pathetic. That make me laugh so much.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
sorry,
shall
you
attack
sound
him
like
with a cackling laugh.
Yeah, so aside from the different themes of certain scenes changing, like obviously from the obvious scene with Rouge in the bathtub, which still bothers me, like, yeah, who the hell wears, gloves to a bathtub? But one interesting difference is the Japanese version with the soundtrack. Like, there's obviously different tracks here and there, but for this particular episode, surprisingly, they use a lot of music from the adventure games.
Yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 gets a lot of music used here. I noticed that too. Way more than the Sonic Adventure 2 adaptation even got. But yeah, I love the Sonic Adventure 2 background music, so that made me very happy. But anyway, Sarah, what are the differences again between American and Japanese? I didn't watch the...
Okay, so first off, the bath scene Melty just mentioned is gone. It's not in the 4Kids dub at all.
Wahoo!
Yeah, of course not.
So one early change is when Molly first talks to Shadow. In the original, she's like clarifying his name. She's like, "Oh, your name is Shadow, right?" But in the English in the 4Kids dub, she's thanking him for helping her, which I liked. I liked that change.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird how like scenes of this, like the conversations will diverge and converge weirdly, like in a kind of a helix pattern, where like characters will start talking about something completely different and then go back to where it was in the original version. like multiple times. There's also a weird change that where like Leon is first talking to Eggman, and he's got this like scowl on his face, but in the English dub, he sounds very excited to see Eggman.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I think his reaction in both the Japanese and in the 4Kids version are opposite of what they should have been. Like, because he should have sounded happy in the in the Japanese one because he was trying to like trick Eggman at the time. Whereas in the 4Kids one, Eggman had just kind of like blown his cover accidentally, and they all pretend like they didn't hear it. So it felt like those reactions should have been swapped, but that's weird. Also, in the dub, obviously Leon's like, "Oh, we've only got the one Chaos Emerald, but we don't really need a Chaos Emerald anymore." In the original one, he specifically says that like he's never even heard of a Chaos Emerald, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because there's only 7 of them. There was also this scene where Shadow, Rouge, and Molly get attacked by these giant fish, and the conversation after that changes between the original and the dub. In the original,
They say that she always jumps in front of her teammates, and that's you might die.
Well, yeah, but
because
like
I'm constantly foreshadowing her death. You might die. Don't die. It's like, oh, gee, I want to die today.
in the 4Kids dub, they were thinking that the piranhas were an ambush, and that like someone was behind the piranha attack, and Shadow has like a suspicion of who it is, but we never learn who it is.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Also, there was a line that Rouge said that I'm like, I can't believe a 4Kids dub got away with this.
What did she say?
Where she says, "So you're saying some boob set up a booby trap?"
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
that's who's talking.
Away with that.
It's like in Transformers when Optimus Prime says, "Amazing, a booby trap to capture actual boobies."
It's especially ironic for this episode because they went ham on censoring Rouge's boobs in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, completely over the top, just as much as they could.
To be fair, she does have a couple unflattering shots, including one that's included in the screenshot.
Yeah. There's also there was like a moment where Shadow's resolve was like changed between the 4Kids and the original. I should have wrote down more details, but like I do remember I didn't like the 4Kids change that specific time, but not by much. It was just in the original, Shadow was being slightly more heroic.
Oh yeah, I think there was like his reasonings for going after Molly and looking after her. Because I'm trying to remember. So like in the English dub, the kind of discussion is like, oh, why you have an interest in Molly? Like, oh, I just want to make sure that she's safe, yada yada. Then the Japanese version, it's much more different, where it's kind of more of like, oh no, Molly chooses her own path, yada yada.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, what about you? It's like, yeah, I can't choose my own path. Something like that.
Yeah. In the 4Kids dub, he's specifically saying he wants to protect Molly for reasons, but in the Japanese one, he's saying he wants to. He's just saying he's trying to protect her dream or something.
Yeah, it's one of those things that works much better in the Japanese version.
And then, of course, the big change is, like, obviously 4Kids didn't have Molly die. They had her live to fight another day.
Go all Poochie. Go all Poochie at the end. I have to go now.
Yeah.
I will never saw her again.
The way they just make her disappear off screen, it's like she's just abandoned her squad mates.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they betrayed her first and tried to kill her, so you don't blame her on that.
Yeah. I think the funniest part of the change, though, is there's a scene where Shadow and Rouge are like having a memorial for her and like standing over her grave. 4Kids removed the gravestone, but not its shadow.
Yeah.
I barely noticed it myself, but
There's just a random shadow on the ground.
It's shadow.
Sure, why not?
Also, Leon's plan was really stupid. So, like, he had set up a bomb at the mine or the museum or whatever inside of a locker, rigged to explode when it opened. And he's like, all right, so I'll give her the key to open it, and that'll blow her up. But, like, he had no way of knowing she'd want to go to that specific place at any point in the near future.
Lucky Henry.
Yeah,
Must be Gale's Emerald, yeah.
Yeah, I see.
it feels
like
convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a bit vague on why Leon tells her to go to a specific locker or whatnot. I think in the Japanese version, it's more clarified. Like, oh, I want you to go to this locker and get this disc. Oh, why? I want to make a more updated version of it. And then she goes to it, like, oh no, it's a bomb.
Who knows? Maybe you
in
put
the
a
English
bomb in.
dub, it was that he tells her that it has historical records in it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe Leon put a bomb in every single building on the entire planet and just desperately hoping for it to enter any building.
He's secretly Bomberman.
Yeah.
Hold on, I need to pull out my key ring and figure out which key goes to the locker of the building you're going to.
That'd be great.
I also really love the banter between Shadow and Rouge in this episode.
Yeah, they're great.
I do know in the Japanese dub, or in the English dub, it was Shadow says, "I'm no hero," and then Rouge is like, "That's right, he's only out for himself, aren't you, Shadow?" And then Shadow retorts by saying, "You're one to talk. You do just about anything to get what you want." And she is taken aback by that, and I'm like, "Yeah." And
Rouge.
yeah, and then another moment was when they find the Chaos Emerald, and Rouge is about to take it, and Shadow snatches it. Says, "Don't forget, I got my eye on you." It's like, come on, Shadow, we're on the same team, aren't we? Sure we are. How insulting.
Yeah, that was
the
great.
banter between these two. That's why I ship them. Because I find
everybody.
Yeah, well, Shadow can actually stand on equal footing with Rouge in a conversation, like this, and he can make jabs at her. And
Knuckles can't. He can only be frustrated.
yeah, they can make jabs at each other, and then they can go back and forth with each other. Whereas I feel like with Knuckles, it's kind of unfair.
Yeah, he has no rewards. He can only scream as a caveman.
Like Rouge is always the one making the jabs, and Knuckles is always the one who has to take them.
Yep.
Whereas with Shadow, he's able to make jabs of his own.
Indeed. I was kind of surprised they gave the humans a backstory where they themselves were attacking other planets and all that. Kind of makes them unsympathetic, because I was kind of expecting them a sad, poppy backstory. Oh, we're just nice, friendly people, and all of a sudden we were under attack. I was like, no, the backstory, they were attacking other planets. It's like, oh, I guess you kind of...
Yeah, it's quite funny how they themselves were bigged out to be an evil empire as well.
Yeah, so hey, I guess you kind of deserve the situation you're in then. There you go.
It's a cycle of oppression. When you oppress someone else, it will fall back upon you.
I guess so.
And then the oppressor will become the
Empire.
oppressor, and then the oppressor will become the oppressed.
Yeah.
A lot. That's really.
But yes, continue.
But yeah, actually, I don't think they mentioned that in the English dub. They just said that they were an advanced civilization and they were thriving until the Metarex came.
Okay.
Yeah, the Japanese version goes a little more in depth with Civilization's backstory. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Guess it's too much detail for the kiddies.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, very interesting episode. I kind of wish it was a two-parter because it feels rushed, but it had a lot of interesting themes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wish the resistance came up more and more. It's like we only see them twice.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, of course, knowing me, it's like, I just like the Japanese version better because, I don't know, I guess I just like a little more darkness in my stuff sometimes.
I like complexity. It's not necessarily darkness I like, because you can have dark themes, but they don't mean much if they're just there for the sake of it.
That's a good point. That's kind of the problem I have with this episode. Like, the concepts are interesting, but I'm not quite sure what the moral is or what it's about.
War is hell?
Yeah, fair enough. I guess that's part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but in the Japanese stuff, I feel like it doesn't make much sense.
But yeah, she's brought up as she's the hope bringer, but then they betray her, and then she just commits suicide. Like, so the moral of the story is that hope is depressing, or what?
I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe she was like trying to like, all right, screw you guys. I'm gonna defeat the whole armada myself. I guess that was kind of what I had interpreted at one point. But yeah, suicide would be another one.
I guess she wanted to inspire them, but we never see their reaction to her death, so we don't even know what she inspired out of them. For all we know,
yeah, that's really odd.
Just her being like literally before she dies, after like making eye contact with Shadow, she looks back at her guys. It's like, you did this. Boom.
Tell my story.
Also, she's the only female we'll ever see, so I guess their population is
Yeah, I was going to mention that she's the only female in the group.
So I guess they're never going to get any kids yet. They're
yeah, all the rest of the squadron are like, oh, well, crap, how are we going to reproduce our population now?
Maybe we shouldn't put our only female in the main position of fighting, yeah. Oops. Oh, well. I assume there's a lot of more people off screen, and we didn't see everyone, but... It's a funny thought.
Like, I wonder if there's supposed to be like a unit of fighters and the rest of the planet is elsewhere, or the rest of the residents of the planet are elsewhere.
I assume so. Although it is amusing to think they're actually doomed now, in a very dark kind of way. But yeah, were those humans going to show up in a later episode, or is this a fully episode?
Oh, they're going to show up again.
Yeah, I think there's a later episode where one of them shows up.
No, Squad does show up again, but
Sorry,
yeah.
I was just saying, like, oh, if they're not going to show up, it's going to be like they're the only rebels available. They're the rebels that survived.
I guess so.
Like, yeah, that's all. It's just all of us. That's all we're left. Yeah, it's just us. We're what's left.
Yeah, we screwed up.
Oh well, it's a pretty depressing season, yeah, with all the extinctions of all the alien species.
Yeah, I'll be honest and say I don't really like the Metarex saga of Sonic X.
No, too depressing.
I think it has a lot of great moments, and it actually has some of the best moments in the series. But the whole arc itself just feels like a mess.
And I still can't believe how little of a threat they are. Even in this episode, it's the darkest and the depressing of them all. And yet the Metarex themselves barely do anything. The Shadow just immediately blows them up on one hit. And then the big bad guy has done nothing. It lays there in crumbles, and is still like, ha ha ha! Look how evil I am, and I'm just laughing at him. But even now, you're still pathetic.
It's like, hey guys, this is Shadow. You know, the guy who blew up your entire armada single-handedly.
Yeah. So man, they're really doing a bad job of making them feel threatening. Even now, I thought, oh, this is going to be finally an episode where they're actually scary. Like, no, it's still not. Oh well, poor Metarex. I guess eventually they'll do something more intimidating. I hope so.
Yeah, well, there's going to be an episode later, which is actually my favorite episode in the Metarex saga, where Shadow proves to be more of a threat than the Metarex ever were.
Well, he already is.
Oh yeah, I think I know that episode. But yeah, we'll see now that we're like 10 episodes left in the season.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but it's like Shadow single-handedly is more of a threat than the entire Metarex armada ever was. So
I am the one who knocks.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I guess we're done. Anyone else has a statement to make? Or shall we move on to our wacky zany manga? I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Melting Man, you're responsible for us making us read this, so take responsibility. What's this all about?
Yeah.
Treasure competition in South Island.
Alright, I'll do a quick summary of this particular story I picked out. So it's I'm trying to remember it, so I'm still on my phone, so I can't see much visuals here. But okay, so so Sonic and Tails are chilling at the beach, and Amy's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? We want to go find some treasure." Like, "Oh yeah, let's find some treasure. That'd be cool." And then they see the Eggman just out on a boat in the middle of the ocean. It's like, "Oh, he's fishing junk, ha ha!" And then they realize "Oh wait, maybe he's after the treasure." So they run after him, and they show up when Robotnik's quickly changed to something more revealing to go underwater to get the chest. So that's going on. So yeah, so now it pretty much all boils down to a race to see who will get the treasure. And it's, Robotnik goes down like, oh crap, here comes a giant shark and eats Robotnik. And they're like, it's so scary. And Sonic like, yeah, you guys go ahead. I can't swim. So they go in, and it turns out like, oh, the shark is coming after them. But it turns out, oh no, it's actually a robot that Robotnik specifically made to fool them. So now it goes into this big long fight against them of the shark chasing after Sonic's friends. Then eventually Sonic manages like, okay, I'll help you guys out. And after almost drowning, Knuckles manages to help him out. It's like, okay, I can't swim, but at least I can run on water. So it runs around a bit, and then the shark throws one of its fins at him, which Sonic quickly uses as a surfboard. It's like, oh, this is much better. So they eventually, he charges after the shark and slices him in half, along with Robotnik's own.
Nope.
So having to find the treasure, like, hey, the treasure's there, yay! And they open it up, like, oh no, it's a gold thing that, like, the one that Robotnik had, but now it's gold. It's like, oh, ain't I sexy? Like, go away, Robotnik. And then it ends.
Stupid sexy Robotnik.
That was surprisingly the most serious and straight of the manga so far. It was mostly just a straight adventure, yeah.
Yeah.
Treasure hunt.
It,
That was crazy. And nice to see South Island referred as South Island and not as Green Hill. So that's one detail I approve of. But yeah, most silly stuff again. Sala, you want to say something?
I did like that because they're on a treasure hunt, Knuckles is wearing his OVA hat, or at least a less detailed version of it.
it's just more of a regular fedora in this manga.
Yeah. Also, the type of swimsuit Eggman is wearing is called a fundoshi, more specifically an etchu fundoshi because it has the apron in the front.
Yeah.
It's way too revealing, at least. But yeah, so if you like Naked Eggman, you're gonna love this comic.
Yep.
Oh my.
Plenty of skin to see.
Yeah, insert Adventures of Sonic joke here.
But yeah, Elise is not impressed by his physique, I hear.
I just died inside.
I'm sorry. Sorry to go through that.
So release a first experience of the wacky adventures of the Sonic Dash and Spin mangas.
Yeah, not much to say. Great face expressions. Love the dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, because for me, like, every time I kind of, like, see, like, a very angry-looking, like, Eggman, I gotta keep reminding myself, like, those are his eyes above his glasses, not his, like, eyebrows.
Yeah, the manga really loves that.
It's how they're drawn, those, like, almost like they're, like, oddball eyebrows of sorts. But yeah, when on closer inspection,
yeah,
like,
the manga really loves yeah. Yeah, the manga really loves showing off Robotnik's eyes, which is kind of coincidence because the games are the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, at least this is your first time reading these mangas?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read it before the stream, though.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So you were
Blasphemy!
Well, surprise!
I guess Naked Eggman was too much for you.
Yeah, when I saw
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, when I saw the panel with Eggman covering up himself with the "no way" thing, I could think of that that sound effect where it goes "wow." That usually happens in
yeah.
That's one, yeah. That.
I'm trying to do it, but I can't.
Goes, wow, that sort of thing.
Wow.
Wow!
Oh, I know which sound effect you're thinking of.
Sorry, I just made that wow noise, and the dog was just suddenly just got his head up, like, what the fuck was that?
Oh. Okay, Roger, now you're just doing this on purpose.
Okay, I'll go somewhere else. This one, pretty much the same.
Well, also, when I saw Robotnik in his Shark submarine, I was like, well, at least he's not using an Xbox controller.
Oh, God!
No!
Too soon, sorry.
Oh, no.
Not too soon, but oh my God.
That was awful.
That's a reference I don't get. What are you referring to?
Oh,
You
Oh,
don't know
you
about what
really
happened with the Ocean Gate submarine?
Oh yeah, that.
Oh no, I know what you're talking. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
bad timing indeed. Oh,
yeah.
let's move
Yeah.
on from that. That's a little too depressing.
Exactly. Quick.
How dare you, Luke?
Sorry.
Sorry.
I know dark British humour is our thing, but still too soon. So
Too soon.
don't do it again, please. Just take the joke, scrunch it up, and put it back in your mouth, please.
All right.
No, other way.
I guess instead we could just say, "Hey, with it being a robot, at least it's not a Robotnik, controlling Jabberjaw."
There you go.
I feel so out
Yeah.
of place in that dark humor thing because I'm I'm described as a very optimistic person.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're pushing that optimism a little bit, aren't we?
Just a tad.
Just like it, everybody.
I would say.
Yeah, just a tad, but it'll take more than that to keep me down.
Well, that ends the stream. Thank you all for watching. See you all next time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Guess.
Wait, for real?
I guess so. We killed the stream.
Well, it's just
I guess
so
before we
quiet.
end, like I will say, I am looking forward to seeing the rest of Sonic Prime, even if I don't like Sonic in this show.
Yeah, I'm
He's
looking
only the
forward
main
to the rest
character,
of the
no
new
big deal.
episodes.
Yeah.
But man, it's like I never thought that I would, like, the Sonic character I would end up hating the most would be Sonic himself.
Yeah. Especially me, whose favorite character of all time is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
But I just can't stand him in this show.
Just too optimistic and cheerfully happy.
It's like, no, this is not optimistic, cheerful, or happy. This is just stupidity.
Yeah, well, at least it's
Trust
better
me,
than Boom.
I should know.
Well, hey, on the plus side, at least it's better than Boom Sonic, where in some ways I kind of find him to be a bit of a whiner there. Like, oh, this is stupid. Why are we there? It's so stupid. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, at least
I'll be
one of the
honest,
many
I
reasons
will
I
take
hate Boom
Grumpy
Sonic.
Grandpa Boom Sonic over the stupidity Prime Sonic any day. Because at least in Boom Sonic, he's consistent.
I guess.
Yeah, coincident. Yeah, ironic considering how the show is very inconsistent.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. All I can say is the person we got to blame for, I assume, is Man of Action. And I only say that just because his name keeps popping up at the end of the credits.
That's the name.
Oh,
of the
yeah.
I don't know who this Man of Action is, but
Shadow,
he's definitely
probably.
not good at writing.
Yeah. Well, hey,
Yeah,
at least it ain't Podcast.
at least they got Shadow right. Or, like, on the right track.
Yeah, he's more of a step in the right direction in this show.
Yeah.
Literally, with that picture that Roger's got up. Step in the right direction indeed.
It's a step in the right direction after all.
But also the other picture, Sonic being oblivious to his friends being holograms for way too long. It's like nothing suspicious here.
Yeah.
How could a guy so fast be so slow, huh?
Yeah. And this is why Sonic would suck if he was playing. This is why Sonic. Yeah. This is why Sonic would suck if he was playing as Pyro in Team Fortress 2, because he would just suck at spy checking.
Yeah.
A Sonic third-person shooter. And that'll be something first-person. Oh, wait, yeah, Sonic Robles 2 kind of has a mode like that, so there you go.
Well, isn't Shadow's game kind of third person?
Yeah, that too. So there you go. Sonic Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
Poor Dash
Oh, boy.
manga. We'd rather talk about Prime again than this comic. No, there's not much to say. It's mostly goofy, wacky
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm surprised there hasn't been like a Sonic Warriors game. Like, imagine Sonic like defeating
I would
hundreds or
love that!
thousands of badniks.
I've been saying that for Sonic is the perfect franchise for a Dynasty Warriors game because there's tons of characters, all of whom have varied movesets and are all capable of taking out hordes of robots. It's so perfect. Why have they not done it?
Do it! Do it! I would love
I'd be-
Fire Emblem.
that
They did it
so
with
much.
Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I'd be all
With
up for
Fire Emblem
that.
before they did it with Sonic. I'm so mad
Indeed.
about that. It's perfect for Sonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sonic
Yeah.
Warriors. With...
Palpatine, what do you think of this?
Do it.
Yes, do it.
There you go.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that would
Do it
be
now.
so amazing.
What now? No.
They could
Yeah,
have
that'd be
just
cool.
they could have even made it like Sonic and the Black Knight themed and called it like Sonic Arthurian Warriors, and it still would have been amazing.
They could make it like Sonic
Yeah.
Forces, but better.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sonic Forces, but better.
Exactly.
Yeah. But oh my gosh, like I could see all the characters that you could play right now. I mean, probably one of my favorite Zelda games is Hyrule Warriors, just because you get to play as other characters besides Link. When I got to play Zelda, yeah.
It's also the only Zelda game that has any kind of level of scale. Like, I was kind of shocked to see a picture of Zelda looking out of her window and seeing Knight's train. It's like, wow, that's more personality and mass I've ever seen in a Zelda game than all the other
and
games
you see
together.
One soldier without a helmet. It's like, he must be the chosen one.
Yeah.
Well, she can see his face, so.
Also, Hyrule Warriors is, for one thing, it's the only Zelda game I've ever beaten. So,
Ouch.
and it's barely a Zelda game. But also, it introduced my favorite Zelda character, which is Linkle.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah.
one-off
I'm
character.
sad they didn't bring her back for Hyrule Warriors 2. Because that would have been funny seeing.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, Linkle is a girl who thinks she is the hero of time, but she is not, and she is very bad at following directions, so she gets lost on her journey to save Hyrule, and ends up accidentally saving Hyrule from some other threat.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I remember Linkle.
She also is a chicken farmer who uses dual crossbows.
Yeah.
A
But is
chicken
she a
farmer.
good shot?
Ooh, that's a very deadly person in the Zelda universe.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
An endless supply of chickens. Oh my. My favorite Zelda
Yeah,
character
you-
is CDI Link, says someone in the chat. That's
I
That
can't
is
wait
an
to bounce
opinion.
on the dongos.
he's very powerful indeed. With the power of memes.
If I'm crouched while I'm walking, you can make me do the duck walk. Cool, huh?
Yeah, I would love to see a Sonic Warriors game. That'd be amazing. And especially playing as all the characters from the past games.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Although
See,
again, they
this
would
is
have
not
to
my
nerf Silver
smart
quite a
score.
bit because
Yeah.
I remember playing Sonic and the Black Knight
my
co-op
God.
mode, and Silver has the most OP move in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. It just picks everyone up and drains their rings.
Yeah, he only does it twice, but he only needs to do it twice because
Yeah.
each time he takes half of their rings, and his field expands the entire field. Or his force field where he sucks all the rings out of everybody expands the entire field. Like you can't get away from it. And so it's like you kind of have to. He's kind of gonna have to be nerfed in that way. That's why I say he's ridiculously OP, even though I love it. But yeah, I could see where that might be an issue unless everybody else gets power ups. It's like I guess if it'd be like a Dynasty Warriors or Hyrule's Warriors game, then everybody is going to get like power buffs in some way.
Maybe Silver has the cold, therefore he's kind of weaker.
Huh?
Maybe Silver has a bit of a cold, and that happens.
Yeah, probably.
just to give the others a sporting chance.
Or I don't know. I think maybe him having a cold would make him even more dangerous because his powers would be erratic.
Every time he sneezes, everyone just explodes.
Oh god.
Everyone explodes.
Achoo!
Ow.
I want to know how powerful cream and cheese are. She just throwing cheese at everyone.
Yeah, cheese is just suicide. Yeah, cheese is a suicide bomber.
Although, granted, now I'm just thinking of like a very small, like Cream wearing like oversized armor, and she just keeps throwing literal rolls of cheese at the enemy.
Cheese wheels bowling them all over. Yeah.
You can't see, so she just keeps assuming she's throwing cheese to Chow, but just literal cheese.
Oh.
Sure, why not? Why does cheese got to be a separate playable character then?
And her ultimate move is having a giant Chow.
Yeah, giant Omotel. Yeah.
She can ride. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Giant
Someone call
Chow.
Sega and tell them about it.
Just talking about stuff and killing the enemy. Like, push the X button to die.
Oh no. And the other best part is that you could also play as Eggman because in I remember Hyrule Warriors you could play as Ganondorf and Zant, so
It's been a long time.
get everybody on board.
It's about time Eggman's playable again. Then again, he was
It could be
playable
like
too,
his
Sonic
walking
Racing.
mech from Sonic Adventure 2, which was like missiles and lasers and all sorts of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not like he needs it. Not like he actually needs it, considering he seems more than capable of just grabbing everyone and just flinging them all over the place.
So he gets done out from the IDW comics, just shoots them all.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Yeah, in IDW Sonic, Robotnik kind of learns like, oh yeah, I'm taller than these little shits, and he just grabs them and whacks them around.
Oh yeah, he knows wrestling moves as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sonic X comic.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I can
El
see that.
Grandodo. Yeah.
Move sets that these characters could have. It would be amazing.
Indeed, so many possibilities.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, I think we should be wrapping up and get Melting Man out of his parking lot prison. Or are you?
Well, in between the live stream, I've been moving back and forth into my hotel room, so that's where I currently am now. But yes, with the stream done, I'll be heading off to TrotCon.
There you go. Shouldn't keep you away.
Well, have
from
fun
that.
with that.
Watching.
Yeah, fun.
Alright, thanks.
Anyone else has fun plans today? Not the Europeans. We need to go to bed soon. But for the Americans,
I mean, I bought some games on the Steam Summer Sale, so I'll probably be playing some of those.
all right.
Oh, nice.
Gonna stream them.
Yeah.
Probably not, because I'm still, recovering from my cold. So, yep,
Yeah. Hopefully you
that's
will.
excellent use of that sound.
Yeah.
Got to make the most of it.
How mean of you. How mean-spirited. Yeah, and at least let's get back to our schoolwork, probably.
Yeah, actually I'm gonna do quite a bit of writing today, but first I need to run to the grocery store and get some stuff.
All right. Have a good one. So,
Yeah, you too. What are you Europeans gonna do the next day?
I have
Well,
animations for
I'm
you.
going to see this show that my niece is in. I think she's like one of the singers or something. So it's just a nice little family gathering kind of thing.
A musical? She's doing a musical for school, or what?
Yeah, I think it's sort of like a school musical thing, I guess.
Yeah, well, have fun with that.
Thank you.
Hope she does well.
Yeah, thank you.
Roger Ewan?
I have animation to work on at Soul Sensia too. So,
Yeah. Because in fact, that one person won't shut up. It's like, where's Salsa Satya Part 2? I need it.
Be patient, mate. It'll be out
Oh,
when it's
boy.
out. Do something else with your time.
Poor Roger being pressured into finishing it.
hey, well, at least people want to see my stuff better than everyone's just ignoring it or get lost with your garbage. Yeah, my wife is playing Dave the Diver and doing the streams of that, so if you find that interesting. A game starring a guy who looks like me, but just enjoying diving and fishing, which I wouldn't be.
I don't know.
Which
Just
you
imagine,
can
like,
watch
you doing
tomorrow.
Oh, no.
Well, Sylvia appeared. Hi, Sylvia.
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Actually, I was actually gonna say it myself because Roger was telling me like, oh, maybe I should mention you in the stream about your Twitch stream. So I was about to jump in, but then Roger already mentioned like, oh, my wife is doing this live stream. Like, perfect timing for me to jump in.
Beat you to the punch.
So yes, on my Twitch channel, Double Silly with 2 times a Y. I'll share it in the chat. I stream every Monday except this Monday because of reasons. But tomorrow I'll be playing Dave the Diver at probably at 3 Central Eastern Time, summertime, where I'll be continuing my adventures underwater. So hopefully I see some of you guys there, and I'll share my link in the chat. If the link
Like a good
didn't derp. Why does the link derp?
Derp, derp, derpity, derp. Derp, derp, derpity, derp.
Oh, of course it doesn't work. Oh, Roger's also sharing it on the screen, but it's not clickable.
No, unfortunately not.
It's about done.
Okay. Okay, now it should work.
Then we'll
Let
go
me try
on.
again. Why is YouTube so stupid? You get the, you get
It's always
what I
been
mean.
stupid.
Whatever, stupid.
Just copy the link and go to the Twitch channel. If you want, follow me, so you won't be missing any streams. If you don't want to watch my streams, that's fine too. Just follow me anyway, so I get lots of followers. Hooray!
Hooray, indeed.
Just kidding. Yeah.
Huzzah!
But look, it looks like Roger, minus the glasses missing, but...
Yeah. I just don't know why I seem to find it funny just imagining Roger actually diving.
I do enjoy swimming in the water, although I never actually dove with an actual suit and all that.
Using a Gatling gun.
He gets to shoot at. You get to shoot at fish. Yeah.
But yeah. So that's.
I think Roger would just yell at them.
Get in my belly!
But you don't even like fish.
No, get out of my belly!
Get out of my sight! I need to make animation on the water.
No, he can just yell at Jeff. Like, get out of my way, fish!
But nah, I give when voice acting him, I give him
Right,
a cat
fish.
kind of voice.
Big the
Get
cat,
away
yeah.
from me, fish. Yeah. What the fuck?
I tried to do a Gollum voice, sorry.
Oh, right.
My precious fish.
Well,
But yeah, thank you, Roger, for letting me share my Twitch stream channel.
sure. And by the sounds of it, every one of us lost their minds, so everyone say goodbye. And that's it.
Bye.
Goodbye. There we go.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Nay.
Bye.